Clerk, if you could take a roll call for us.
Patricia Williams. Patricia Williams. I think her.
Present.
Okay. Jamie Rowe.
Here.
James Corcoran.
Present.
Ashley Williams.
Present.
Cecil Anderson.
Here.
Terry Kerr.
Here.
David Harden. I see that you're present. Your mic is muted. Rebecca Longmire. I see that Rebecca's present. And Robert Thompson.
Here.
Okay.
Here.
So all 9 members are present.
Okay, if we could say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Stand.
Now that forth.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
United
States
States of America.
and to the republic
Republic.
The Republic
Which stands
stands
one
nation under God.
God,
Indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty, justice for
For
all.
all.
Members are volunteers from each commission district. We do not receive compensation for our work on the board and training that we receive. As a quasi judicial body, we avoid ex parte conversations and conduct our business in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. I am Terry Kerr. I'm the acting chair for the day. We have no acting vice chair today, and our law director, Mr. Sanders, is with us today. We also have guests from Knox County Codes, Planning, possibly Engineering, I'm looking to see, Stormwater, our Knox County Clerk's Office, and I think I've gotten everybody on there. Our voting procedure requires 5 positive votes for a motion to be approved, regardless of the number of board members that are present at the time of the vote. Today, we do have 9 members available today. The Knox County, well, I'd like to see if someone would make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
So moved.
And second,
Second.
the Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals is authorized to grant variances and hear other matters by the Tennessee Code and the Knox County Zoning Ordinance. Specifically, these laws prescribe parameters required to grant a variance. The burden of proving the grounds for a variance request rests upon the applicant. For each matter, the clerk will read the request into the record. I will then ask if the applicant is present and then ask if there are opposition or other speakers who wish to present. You don't have to come forward at that time. Once we determine the speakers for the item, we will call on governmental agencies such as Knox County Codes, Planning, or Engineering to make statements regarding the facts pertinent to the property and background of the request. Board members may ask questions of the governmental agencies once they have made their statements. Then I will call on the applicant to come forward and state their name and address for the record and present their evidence and reasoning supporting the granting of the variance. If there is no opposition, applicants have 10 minutes to present their case. If there is opposition, the applicant and opposition each have up to 15 minutes. And after the applicant's presentation, the board members may ask questions of the applicant. We'll then call for opposition or other parties who as well have up to 15 minutes to speak. This 15 minutes applies to all parties. So if there are multiple parties that wish to speak, please figure out how you're going to divide your time beforehand. After the opponents speak, the board members may ask questions of the opponents. Finally, there will be a discussion of the case by the board, during which time commissioners may ask further questions of parties that have already testified. Then the board will make any determinations it deems necessary. Our bylaws allow an applicant at the initial hearing on a matter to request a deferral of 30 or 60 days without prejudice. In the event of a deferral of an application or failure to appear, any opponents may be heard on the record at a meeting where the application they oppose appears on the agenda. So Mr. Sanderson, I'm sorry, Mr. Sanders, I would like to see if you could swear in any speakers. Sorry.
Okay, before we do that, Terry, do you see my blue hand up on the participants pane?
I do not.
Okay, if you'll click at the bottom of the screen there, if you'll click on participants, and that should bring
I
up.
see you up, yes. I
Okay,
do see that.
so as the chair, you'll need to monitor that to see, and I'll try to help, but if anybody wishes to be recognized, they'll need to click the raise hand option there, and it'll put a little blue hand icon next to their participant name, and we'll try to monitor that and get to those in order. The other thing, very shortly, we had a motion and a second to approve the minutes, and this will be good practice, but all the votes that we take today will need to be by roll call vote. And so I believe we had a motion and a second to approve the minutes from last meeting, but I don't believe we took a vote on that. So let's do that.
Okay,
Easy for me to call the roll.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Miss Williams,
Present.
this is for the roll call on to approve the minutes.
Correct.
So is this an aye vote?
Aye,
Okay.
yes.
Miss Rowe,
Aye.
Mr. Corcoran,
Aye.
Ashley Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Anderson,
Aye.
Kerr,
Aye,
Mr. Harden,
Aye.
Miss Longmire,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
All members voting aye. 9-0.
Okay, and
okay.
I see that we have 24 participants. Normally, at the in-person meeting, we'll ask those participants to stand and raise their right hand. This will be more of an admonishment to tell the truth when you address the board. So I'm just going to admonish all the participants that the testimony that you give before the board should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And I will take that you are addressing the board and that you agree to that requirement.
Anything need to be said with that? Are you good? Okay. Okay, I don't think we have any agenda changes or corrections that need to be addressed. No, all right, we'll move on and we will ask the clerk to read our first item.
Item 4A is a request of Brian Sheets. It's for a waiver of front yard setback from 35 feet to 28 feet. The property is located at 1228 Wallingford Road, CLT map 105, Group JE, parcel 006, property zone RA in the 3rd Commission District.
Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Do we have any opposition? Okay, do we have any statements from Knox County or code, stormwater, planning, anyone?
Steve Elliott, Knox County Codes. No, I've got it. I can do it with this. The applicant is requesting a reduction of the front yard setback on the lot. The required setback is 35 feet. He's requesting a setback of 28 feet due to topography at the rear of the lot, along with a stream at the rear. The setback is in general conformance with the other homes that are on the same street. If you look, we'll pull up a map here and get it going for you. The houses that neighbor the applicant, their houses, I think one sets back 21 feet and the other sets back 24 feet. So the request is similar in nature to the neighboring properties.
Okay, is there anything else from anyone else in codes?
I think that's it from the codes office.
All right, perfect. All right, if you would not mind, how do you say your name, Mr. Sheets? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, if you would just let me know what your reason is and your supporting evidence for your request, for this variance?
Yeah, the way the lot, just drops off kind of drastically I mean, it's real drastic. And again, to keep it closer to the road, that 7 foot don't sound like a lot, but it will help and with what's beside of me, and it'll make it a better buildable lot. So,
Does the board have any questions? I don't see any hands right now. Mr. Williams?
Yes, I have driven by this lot many times over the past couple of weeks. And I do see where the neighboring house to the right looks to be about 24 feet from the road. Looks like you've got about 10 feet of land from the curb that's semi-flat, and then it really kind of drops off down the back.
yeah, it does.
I personally do not see an issue with this request based off of the neighboring homes.
I'm going to interrupt for 1 second before I get you, James. Mr. Sheets, would you mind, for the record, giving us your full name and address? I apologize. I meant to ask that before you started.
It's Brian Sheets. My address is 1602 La Paloma Drive. That's 37923.
Okay, James, thank you. James, did you have something? I think we may have lost him. Are there any other questions from any other board members? Mr. Thompson?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Sheets, have you discussed this with your neighbors? Do your neighbors have any issues with this?
Well, the property to the left of this home is a duplex. It's rented, and that's the actual lady that used to own the lot. And I have not spoke with the people down, the one that sets about 24 foot. I have not.
Part of our standard is to be satisfied that there's no adverse impact on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We've heard
Well,
that.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, we've heard that the neighboring houses have similar setbacks. So I am not aware of any adverse impact, but we normally do ask you to touch base with neighbors. Now, you bought this property from the one neighbor, is that right?
Yes, and which they obviously know about it. The property to the left, if you're facing that lot, they've converted that into a duplex, I guess, some years ago, and it's going to look a lot better. The neighborhood will and get this house built. I promise you that if you've drove by it.
Okay. And can you tell us the square footage? Is this a two-story house?
It is. It is.
And what will the footage per floor be?
It's roughly 1,200 on the. It'd be around 1,900 between the first, combined.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Corcoran?
Yeah, I apologize. I was having.
We lost you. There you are.
Mr. Sheets, is it safe to say that this house you're planning on building is kind of consistent in size and general nature to the other houses in the neighborhood?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly. Yes.
I don't know if anyone else is from the board is desiring to speak on this matter, but this one is in my commission district. I think this is one of those few cases that the topography from the map really kind of speaks for itself. I think in looking at the other homes in the neighborhood, I think this is about the one place that this piece of property could be built on. And I do think that this is the minimum amount of a variance that's being asked for that would be, necessary to make this piece of property usable. So if there's no one else from the board that's, got a burning desire to speak on this one, I'd like to look at making a motion since it's in my district. Is there anyone wanting to jump in?
I see no other hands.
Okay, well, I'd make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, clerk. Can we call
Williams?
can you call a roll?
Okay. Miss Williams,
Approve.
Miss Rowe,
Aye.
Mr. Corcoran,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Anderson.
Aye.
Did you say no?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Miss Kerr,
Aye.
Mr. Harden,
Aye.
Miss Longmire, Miss Longmire.
I don't know that her microphone was working.
Okay. Mr. Thompson
Aye.
and Miss Longmire. I'll try again. Is your mic muted, Miss Longmire, by chance?
Can you do a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I don't see the video. I don't see her on the.
She may have dropped.
Oh, no, yes, I do approve.
Okay.
Okay.
That vote is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Miss Longmire votes.
I
aye.
am here. It's just my internet connection is really poor right now and I keep losing things. But I do approve of granting him the right to have a, yeah.
All members voted aye.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right. Clerk, could you read the second item on the agenda?
The next item is 4B. It's a request of East Knoxville Stone to appeal the Knox Planning Department denial of the use on review, file number 6-F-20-UR, properties located at 0 Kennedy Road, CLT map 097, parcel 150. The property zone agricultural and it's in the 8th Commission District.
Okay, is the applicant present?
Yes, we are, John Valiant and I are representing Mr. Malakote and Mr. Hunsaker in this matter. We just were retained in the last week, so we would ask that this get pushed probably 60 days and be reset.
Okay, let me ask, do we have any opposition that is present?
We do have opposition. This is Wayne Klein. I represent the Marbledale community.
Okay, Mr. Sanders? Are you with me?
I would just request that the speakers give their names and a business address for the record. This is Daniel Sanders, the Knox County Law Director's Office, but Mr. Valiant's office, I know, name and address for the record, and then Mr. Klein.
Okay, so could you do so, Mr. Valiant?
Yes, it's John Valiant and Megan Bodie, MEGHAN BODI. And our address is 800 South Gay Street, Suite 1650. And that's Knoxville 37929.
Okay, Mr. Klein?
I'm Wayne Klein from the law firm of Hodges, Dowdy and Carson, 617 Main Street, Knoxville, Tennessee 37902.
Do we have any other opposition?
Yes. Yes, my name is Janice Ferkless. I live at 2517 Julian Lane, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Do we have any other opposition? Okay, so the,
Sorry, yes, you do. I apologize. My name is Stephanie Nichols and Joey Nichols. We live at 2035 Hidden Springs Road. And we have multiple tracks, one track that almost goes to Julian Lane.
Kim, did you receive all that?
Also, Cliff Honaker. Hello,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Cliff Honaker. I'm on the historic Dora Kennedy Farm, known as Swan Pond Farm. It's 6420 Strawberry Plains Pike. And we have according to TDEC, we have the largest wetland in Knox County. And it too is within 500 yards of this proposed quarry site.
Okay, Ms. Ellis, did you receive all of that information? Were you able to hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, so the applicant, I'm sorry, just make sure there's no more opposition that we need to have on the record. Okay, that being said, or no one else saying anything, the applicant has requested a continuance. So a request has been made to continue this for 30 to 60 days. And I am hearing myself talk back, so I don't know if anyone's talking behind me. So
If I may, if you're not speaking, it'd be beneficial to have your microphone muted. I think that will reduce some of the feedback. So if you're not speaking, please mute your.
okay, I think you just muted yourself, Mr. Sanders. So the applicant has requested a continuance. So I'm going to ask if anyone would like to move to approve the request to grant a continuance.
I would recommend that you would allow the opposition to respond to the request before we
okay.
make any decision. It doesn't matter whether it's done before or after the motion, but you should allow Mr. Klein to respond to that.
Okay, we'll do that first then. Mr. Klein, since you spoke up first, if you would like to go ahead and speak.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman. If it's going to be continued, I don't think it's necessary for us to give the opposition today. If it's not going to be continued, I would like to oppose it at its regular time.
Mr. Sanders, what would your suggestion be for the opposition?
So it's not necessary to present opposition at this time if the board decides to continue the matter. The option to present opposition today and have that preserved for the record is totally up to the opposition. You're welcome to speak to the matter today and speak to the matter when it's reset, or wait and speak to the matter when it's reset. Either way, both sessions are going to be preserved for the record.
I would like to speak if that's possible.
And who is speaking right now?
Cliff Honaker.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just heard about this last week, and let me tell you briefly. I have been on this 162-acre farm for 35 years, and my lease expires 22 years from now. This farm has been dated by Perry Childress of East Tennessee Design Center and Charlie Faulkner of the University of Tennessee Anthropology Department. The house that we live in is dated between 1812 and 1830.
Mr. Honaker, this is Daniel Sanders from the law department.
Yes.
You're going to be given the opportunity to make a presentation. I would like to limit the speakers right now to addressing the request for a continuance. And then
Right.
if that is granted, then you'll have an opportunity to preserve testimony for the record. If the continuance is not granted, then we'll have a full hearing at that time.
Okay, but I'll be able to speak now and have it on the record.
Well,
the situation.
Please just limit your comments now to whether or not the board should grant a continuance.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think out of respect for, given that my wife is an attorney, I think out of respect for new attorneys coming on to the scene, sure, 60 days is fine.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, is there any other opposition that would like to make a statement? Okay, then I'm gonna, if not, I'm gonna ask Mr. Valiant, you had stated a 30 to 60 day. Can you be more specific of what you're requesting?
And Mr. Valiant is the one that's going to be handling this, and he had asked for 60, he had told me to request the 60 days. So probably towards the end of September.
Okay, so we just need to, we're going to, if anyone else would like to go ahead and make a motion for this request.
I am in opposition of the request.
And who's speaking?
This is Janice Berkless, located at 2517 Julian Lane, directly across one of the locations of the proposed mining. I am in 100% opposition of the whole thing, as my neighbors are as well. And we would like for this to not go forward any further. Thank you.
Okay, so the board needs to make a decision as to whether they would like to approve the request of Mr. Valiant to give them a continuance of 60 days. Anyone on the board? Go ahead, James.
Since council is brand new to the case and we're reviewed on an abuse of discretion standard, with this being a first setting, I think it would be prudent to make I guess I'm hereby making a motion to grant continuance and have this set on our meeting in 60 days, whichever specific day that is. Just to give everyone the opportunity to be as prepared as they can and make sure that the best facts that are available can be available to this body.
I second.
Mr. Williams, did you have anything else to add? Your
No,
hand.
just, I apologize. I'll take my hand down.
Okay. Miss Ellis, could you take a roll call?
Yes, but before I do, who made the second to the motion?
Ashley Williams.
Mr. Williams. Okay. Okay, I will now call the roll. Miss Williams. And this is on the motion to defer until for 60 days.
I understand that. Nay.
Okay. Miss Rowe.
Mute. Sorry. Nay.
You vote no?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Mr. Corcoran.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Anderson. Aye.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Ms. Kerr.
Aye.
Mr. Harden.
Aye.
Ms. Longmire.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
7 ayes and 2 no votes.
Okay, the motion will carry then for the request. I'm sorry, I can still hear myself. I apologize. We will grant a variance, a continuance for 60 days.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
My
Mr.
hand
Thompson?
is up. I
Mr.
do want to just remind the opposition, Mr. Honaker, Ms. Verklas, and I think there was one more. Do they still have an opportunity now during the 60 days to submit further email comments?
Yes, and this is Daniel Sanders from the Law Department. Any party can submit further documentation up to and including the September meeting. But be aware that the board, in order to have an opportunity to review that, should get that as soon as possible. There's no profit in submitting a 300-page packet the day of the meeting. But since this is the last agenda item on, and it is on our agenda, your rules provide that anyone in opposition has the opportunity to speak today, preserve their testimony for the record, and that just essentially, when we have an in-person meeting, it gives an opportunity for people that come to the city county building to speak and not have to come back in 60 days. But so you can, if you're in opposition, you can do that today. You have your testimony preserved, but you're more than welcome to come back in 60 days and address the board at the meeting then.
But
yeah, I would like.
We do
I would
have.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We do need for any members of the opposition to be considerate of others' time. We have a 15-minute limit, so we would like the members of the opposition to coordinate with each other to allocate their time appropriately.
It's Cliff Honaker. I'd be happy to limit my talk to 5 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just real quickly, live on according to UT and East Tennessee Design Center, either the oldest or the between 1 and 3 oldest working farms in Knox County. We have the largest, according to Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, the largest wetland in Knox County. And the reason it's called Swan Pond Farm is that we are on the migratory path of the trumpeter swan. And in the 34 years that I've been here, only one other occasion had we heard the trumpeter swans coming through. But this year we've heard them 3 separate times. So we're meeting with Neil Denton with the Ag Extension Agency to look at actually expanding the wetland to make it more have a landing pad and takeoff pad for the trumpeter swans to be coming in. The long-term plan for this farm, it's my dream, and I think it's going to be a reality that this farm will be a legacy park or a Knox County park, but it will be one of the most unique parks in Knox County in that we will be working over the next 20 years to make it just remarkable from a wildlife perspective and a living historical place in terms of people understanding why the first settlers settled on this specific piece of land, which was actually hunting ground for the Indians. So to put that quarry here would be disastrous from the long-term planning and the long-term viability of having any kind of urban wilderness or historical park on this property. That's why I was just disturbed as everything to find out Sunday as I took a drive around the neighborhood to see the Variance sign. And so that's, I just wanted to let you know that's the case. That's it.
Is there any other opposition that would like to make a statement?
Hi, this is Stephanie Nichols. Just for the record, I just want it to be known with our plots of land that come up catty corner to this development, We are this is my children are the 5th generation to be raised on certain plots of this land. We have built our home here. We have their small children. We were not notified about this because we're more than, I guess, the 300 feet away. And because I go out on a different direction, there was no notification. I do ask if there's any way for the enormity of this project, because most of the people that I contacted today, because we do live on farms, we have gates due to other reasons for security purposes. There's a lot of individuals in this area who did not know that this was moving forward because of the COVID situation. So I just want that on record, and just to let you know that we're in complete opposition because it will definitely affect our home.
Okay, is there anyone else?
Hey, Terry.
Yes. Who's that?
I would like if Liz is here, I would like for her to address how the notification goes out to residents around and to make sure everyone understands how MPC notifies for use on reviews. Liz, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. Yes. So as part of our operating procedures for notification of any rezoning or plan amendment or use on review, the state requires local planning offices to run an ad in the newspaper. So that's one of the things we do, and it's ran 30 days prior to any public hearing about that item. Another thing that we do just as a local policy is that we place signs on the property that the hearing will be on at least 15 days in advance of any public hearing. And we also notify every property owner within 300 feet of the boundaries of the site that is being proposed. So if you draw basically a buffer of 300 feet out from the entire property line, those are the individuals that get those cards. I will say that sometimes people don't keep their information up to date with the local property assessor's office. So any, mailing address error that might exist, sometimes individuals don't get notified if they aren't keeping that up to date.
Thank you.
Is that sufficient? Okay.
I think so. Thank you. Okay, does anyone have anything else? I'm going to see if I see any other hands up. I think we have everything we need on that one. Is anything else needed? Mr. Sanders?
Motion to adjourn may be in order.
All right. We might, do we want to do our voting prior to adjourn?
Elect the new chair.
Yes. Okay. So we can just, we'll start. I'm just going to start with, we're looking for a chair first. We're going to vote in a vice chair. So we'll go through the, I'm going to start with District 1 and you can make a nomination. We'll go down through all the chairs at this point and everyone makes a nomination. So Ms. Williams, we are looking for a nomination for chair.
I'd like to nominate Terry Kerr for chair.
Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Rowe?
I'd like to nominate Terry Kerr too also.
Mr. Corcoran?
Pass.
Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams?
I'd like to nominate Terry Kerr.
Mr. Anderson? Cecil, can
I
you hear
would
me?
like to nominate James Cochran.
And my nomination would be for James Cochran as well. Ms. Longmire,
Support the nomination of Terry Kerr.
and Mr. Thompson.
Terry Kerr.
Okay, well, I appreciate that's very kind of you all. I would love to defer this to James, or why don't we vote vice chair first? Let's go through, can I do that, Daniel? Can I go through a vice chair vote first?
It's up to you. I think just as long as the vote's clear.
Okay.
One question.
I guess for the record, perhaps it's appropriate for either of us to indicate whether or not we accept the nomination.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do so if folks on this board want me to.
Okay. I would be in favor of Mr. Cochran being the chairman.
I have one question. This is Kim Ellis.
Hey,
I
Kim.
don't have, I missed a nomination from Mr. David Harden. I didn't.
Did I skip you, Mr. Harden?
You did, but that's okay. Both my nominees are already up, so that's fine.
Well, who is your nominee? I apologize.
Terry Kerr.
Okay. Okay, I would love for James to take the role of the chair with his legal experience and other attributes. I think he would make a wonderful chair. So I'm going to make a motion that we nominate and approve James Cochran as chair. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Thank you. Everyone
Ready for a roll
in
call?
favor? Roll call.
Miss Williams?
Aye.
Miss Williams votes aye. Miss Rowe, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Miss Rowe votes aye. Mr. Corcoran?
Aye.
Mr. Corcoran votes aye. Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Williams votes aye. Mr. Anderson?
Uh,
Mr. Harden?
Aye.
Miss Longmire?
Aye.
And Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All members voted for Mr. Corcoran. Nine votes.
Okay, so we're going to open the floor now for nominations for vice chair. Ms. Williams. Can you hear me okay, Ms. Williams?
Yes. I pass.
Okay, Ms. Rowe,
Terry Kerr.
Mr. James, never can get your last name.
Well, you nominated me. Can't pronounce my last name.
I know.
I'll nominate Terry Kerr.
Ashley,
Terry Kerr.
Mr. Anderson.
Terry Kerr.
I'll pass. Mr. Harden,
Terry Kerr.
Ms. Longmire,
Terry Kerr.
and Mr. Thompson.
Terry Kerr.
Okay, if someone would like to make a motion for Terry Kerr to be vice chair.
I so move.
A second.
We take a roll.
Williams?
Aye.
Miss Rowe?
Aye.
Mr. Corcoran?
Aye.
Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams? Oh, you're muted. Your mic is muted, Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Okay. Miss Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Harden?
Aye.
Miss Longmire? Miss Longmire?
Aye.
And Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
All 9 members voted for Ms. Kerr.
I think Mr. Thompson looks pretty happy back there in that picture on him. All right, so we are set with the new chairman and vice chair, and I think that we are finished with the meeting today. So
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
we adjourn. That's all.
Everybody have